Well, we are back with you live once again on another Johnny Torch live broadcast. A day late and a dollar short, it seems. Yeah, this is a Sunday broadcast. We usually do our show on a Saturday. What can I tell you? I just didn't feel up to it. But a dollar short also, we don't really have a big show tonight. We only have a couple of topics to discuss. So this one will probably come in under the hour mark unless I become very verbose, as I've been known to do on occasion. But welcome in, as we are sitting high atop the fair metropolis below in stately Torch Tower. And we've got a couple of things to talk about. First off, I want to thank everybody who have liked, shared, and subscribed. We're at 249 subs right now. The goal, of course, is to get to 300 by the end of the year, and I would love to see 250 at least by the end of the day. And this, of course, is August 1st, the first day in August, the sort of last month in summer. We've got like a month and a half, technically, I suppose. So get out there and do what you want to do and enjoy the summer while it lasts. 76 degrees out right now here. It feels like a lot more in the studio. Of course, the studio is hot and stuffy. So, allergies being what they are for me, it's been pretty rough the past couple of days, my allergies. I think it's the off and on rain this summer. It's been a rainy summer, and then you have the sort of humidity that comes after that. Been a bad summer for my allergy. It's probably the worst it's been in like 5 years. But make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Subscribe if you haven't already. And make sure you leave a comment on the videos. I always address any and all comments in the subsequent broadcast, in the subsequent week. We have Torch News Roundup number 207 today. So we'll get to that momentarily. This is the 251st live broadcast, although I don't know. I think I kind of fudged some of them. I think some of them were sort of recorded on tape, and as they say, and then broadcast live. But be that as it may, check out the links in the descriptions below. You could find me on Twitter. I don't know why, but I'm still on Twitter. I think it's because I kind of don't want to give up on the amount of followers I have there. There's a lot of followers I got, and I'm like, I hate Twitter, but I kind of don't want to say goodbye to those folks. Also, check out our website, The Adventures of Bullets, Bourbon, Private Eye, the comic to end all comics, the greatest indie comic that is being unread today. And we're trying to change that. We're trying to change that. The Adventures of Bullets, Bourbon, Private Eye, issue number 8. I will bring up the cover here. Is just days away from hitting the printer. Having some difficulty, but I'm sure it will still be printed in time for my appearance at Granite Con, which is coming up September 18th and 19th. So if you don't have your tickets yet to see yours truly in what may be the only convention appearance I make this year in the Johnny Torch 2021 Here Goes Nothing New England Comic-Con tour. Of course, I still want to do some, flea market appearances. I want to throw at least a couple of them in this month as we sort of, as a warm-up, sort of to get me in the groove back in the salesmanship aspect of the job. Was gonna do it yesterday, of course. Like I said, I don't know. I felt a little under the weather. I went out for a walk. I usually go for a walk before the show. Came home. I don't know. I felt lightheaded. It just didn't feel great. So, and then today I was like, I kind of feel like I owe the fans a broadcast. So we'll table the live appearances, but coming up in the next couple of weeks, I'll see if I can get the flea market appearances in full swing. We have The Adventures of Bullets, Bourbon, Private Eye. I'm very excited about this one. This one took me almost a year. And I have to say, I put in a lot of effort creatively, both in the writing and in the color. You know, I just really, I spared no expense in time, if not money, in money too. But, and, you know, the backgrounds, I'm playing a lot more with color, trying to get it done. One of these days, you know, I kind of balk at wanting to compare my books to other books, because I know everybody's out there trying to do their thing. Everybody else is out there, and I really applaud them. As I've always said, I always am encouraging folks, especially at a live convention appearance. I'll go to the other stands, the other tables, and talk to the creators. I want us all to do good. But I have to wonder why Bullets Bourbon isn't getting the traction that other books are getting. I mean, I know not everybody out there with a book is doing gangbusters in terms of sales, but I kind of would like to have that discussion, and I think we'll be doing that pretty soon. So check out, it's going to be available probably within the month. I haven't gotten the file to the printer yet. I just received the file this past weekend, on Friday. So I haven't gotten it to the printer yet. So starting Monday, we're going to see where that goes, and I'll have a better idea of how long before it's available for purchase. But make sure you keep an eye on my website. You'll find out there. And, of course, check out Indie Planet, where the book is also available. You can have it your own way. You can buy it through Indie Planet. You can buy it through my website. I try to take off a little bit of the cost on my website, but essentially you have a deal either way. So check out The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye on my website in the link in the description below. All right, but shall I get to the news at hand? I'm sure that's why you're all here, but everybody in the live stream game are allowed to take about 5 minutes to make their pitch. So let's see, the first order of business. Let's talk about that Ghostbusters Afterlife second trailer. I believe it's considered the second trailer. I know they did a like a short scene with Paul Rudd. I don't know if that's considered a trailer. I think I'm having problems. Now, this laptop is only about a year old now. And I don't know what you call it, the plate where you move the mouse and click it and stuff. I have to press it, like, no exaggeration, 17 times now. And it's probably because I'm overusing it because of the work on the book. I used the laptop on the book. I'm going to go fire something into the window if I have to buy another computer in the near future. Of course, maybe I can get a mouse or something and try to spare this pressure plate, but if you hear me tapping away at something and me sort of stalling for time while I'm getting an image up, it's because I have to press this darn thing about 18 times. All right, so Ghostbusters Afterlife, this one was supposed to come out last year in, I guess, July, something like that. Put on the back burner, of course, as the world went into panic and ruin needlessly, in my personal political opinion. But now it is set to go in November. I think it's November 11th. I'm not sure. So we got I don't know if it's the final trailer, but one more trailer here. My feelings on this is mixed. I've been kind of mixed on this movie. On the one hand, you have, it feels like a family drama more than sort of a screwball scare comedy, the way that the original two Ghostbusters films felt. On the other hand, they are actually doing a good job, I think, of trying to tie this to the original films, trying to make this feel like the necessary resolution, the normal outcome of where these characters would be now, apparently. We see at the end of the trailer Dan Aykroyd's little sort of faceless cameo. He looks like he's still working in the occult bookshop. Of course, Harold Ramis sadly passed on, so he can't have an active part in it, but of course it's built around the concept of his grandchildren. We see Janine getting a full cameo in this trailer. It kind of makes me wonder exactly what happened with Janine, especially since now Lewis isn't in this film, and they were suggesting a romance between her and Lewis. She was originally interested in Egon in the first film. That's kind of what makes me curious. What are they going to do with Janine? Because she's apparently still friends of the family. I mean, it's kind of hard to imagine what kind of role she played in the Spangler family, but I guess we'll find out. My other problem is kind of, them Stranger Thingsing it up. You could tell they kind of just wanted to get on the bandwagon of what was popular for like a weird sort of, I'd never seen Stranger Things, but like a horror slash, nostalgia show. They're kind of getting on the bandwagon with that. I mean, you've got, I guess, a 16-year-old driving the ectomobile. You've got, whatever she is, the lead protagonist here at about 13, wearing a proton pack. The kid's basically ranging from like 12 to 16. It's kind of, it's kind of different from what we've seen with Ghostbusters. But apparently we are going to have the original remaining Ghostbusters, who are still alive in the film. This, I don't know if it's considered spoilers. So you might want to skip out for a second if you might consider this a spoiler. But the action figures have come out. The promo, at least promotional footage, promotional photo of the Ghostbusters Afterlife action figures have come out. And of course, we see an aged Winston Zeddemore, Peter Venkman, and Raymond Stantz in their Ghostbusters attire. This, I don't think this is really a spoiler, because last year I think there was I don't know if it was an Entertainment Weekly article or a Vanity Fair article or something that had to do with an interview with Bill Murray, and Bill Murray said how the proton packs are still heavy after all this time. They weigh like 50 pounds, and in his prime it wasn't comfortable to begin with, but nowadays it's at his age, no walk in the park. So we will see them suit up, probably like a 5-minute cameo at the end where they all suit up and then sort of pass the torch, pass the mantle, as the sort of the ongoing tradition has become for these franchises to sort of pass the torch to a new generation. And in this case, that was always kind of the plan. Every time Ghostbusters 3 was brought up, at least in the 21st century. I mean, I think, poor Dan Aykroyd, he tried to get Ghostbusters 3 off the ground basically after Ghostbusters 2. From 1990 on, he's tried to get Ghostbusters 3 off the ground to give them a legitimate trilogy. That's kind of what you always want. You want to have the trilogy, you sort of wrap it up, and then after like 20 years when they want to reboot it, then you kind of have to do the sort of the Star Trek thing where they brought in Leonard Nimoy, and it's okay, we'll hand it off to a new Enterprise crew. Same thing sort of here, but we should have had that third film with all 4 original members, and then we probably could have done this cute 5-minute cameo handoff. But as it's going to go down in history, this is technically our Ghostbusters 3, and unfortunately without Hal Ramis, but this is the best possible outcome. We're going to have the original characters played by the original actors. I know Bill Murray's been a pain about this. He wanted to sort of close out this trilogy. Now, my question is, before we wrap up this segment, is what do you think this means for the Ghostbusters franchise going forward? Does this portend in perhaps sequels? Do you think they really want to go there with sequels? Or is this sort of just the wrapping up of the franchise under, Ramis and Aykroyd? because they obviously tried with Ghostbusters 2016 to spin off and do something different with the same concept. And I think Aykroyd always wanted this to be sort of a spin-off bonanza, where there would be many franchises of Ghostbusters who would take place in different corners of the country and so on and so forth. They said that at the beginning of the first movie, right? The franchise rights and so forth. So this could just be one episode in what could possibly be just different types of Ghostbuster films. Or could it be successful enough that possibly they'll continue on with this next generation of Ghostbusters, and they'll sort of continue on with, the through line of the original Ghostbusters through to, now with this new film, The Next Generation. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Are you excited for Ghostbusters Afterlife? From the behind the scenes of SHAZAM 2, Fury of the Gods. And this one is from about a week ago, I think, or maybe 2 weeks ago, where the SHAZAM suit has been damaged. It looks like it's been burnt or something. Kind of interesting. I mean, you would think that the suit is kind of resistant to that kind of stuff, but then again, maybe it's magic. That's the reason why. Zachary Levi just looks great in the costume. Obviously an action scene here where you see the truck being flipped around. So there is a cool action scene that we have coming up. And the other image, of course, I don't know if this spoils anything for anybody as well, but when you come to the show, let the buyer beware. Let the partaker beware. All right, this is an image of apparently the wizard SHAZAM returning from the dead with Mary Marvel and I don't remember his name, the other kid. And they're riding some sort of steed that apparently will be some kind of CGI beastie at the end of the day. I don't know. I mean, you kind of don't want to bring back a character that was killed like that, especially in SHAZAM, where I think the legend sort of has him already dead. I don't know. I'm not too knowledgeable about the SHAZAM lore. I know the TV show and the kind of the stuff like that, where I think the different members of the SHAZAM head or whatever would speak or something to Billy. I don't know. I just don't know because I'm not that well versed in the lore. But Mary Marvel looking pretty good, and this one will be out. Let me see if I've got any notes for this one. I don't think so. No, I don't know. I think this one will be out 2023 if I remember correctly. 2023. All right, so next up, let's see. We've got Matt Ryan saying goodbye to an old friend. Apparently, the powers that be have decided that since they're finally going to pull the trigger on a Justice League Dark film, that they don't want to have conflicting versions of Constantine around. I don't know. I don't know if this is... well, let me read the copy. We'll find out. Matt Ryan first played Constantine in his own short-lived NBC series. Unfortunately, the network failed to give the series a decent push, so fans weren't surprised when the show ended. However, a social media campaign to bring Constantine back followed. Ultimately, the CW saved the character by giving him a cameo appearance in Arrow, which led to him being added to Legends of Tomorrow. Due to plans for a Constantine reboot on HBO Max by J.J. Abrams, and Bad Robot, set to feature a darker take on the character, and will likely feature a person of color as the title character. Here we go. Here we go again. See, why can't they just leave well enough alone? Matt Ryan is perfect in this role. I don't even like Constantine. I don't like the character. I don't like the world. I never read the books. But he is so endearing in this role. He is basically the only thing that's kept this show alive, Legends of Tomorrow, for the past 2 seasons at least. The show has continually slid down, and this season's no different. It's taking a slide into the crapper, but then every once in a while there's that Constantine moment where he's trying to figure something out. He's the underdog. He's never had it easy, and it's always been 3 strikes against him. But he still manages to soldier on, and a lot of it has to do with Matt Ryan. And, you know, the take on Constantine originally in the TV show was very dark. They did lighten it up somewhat here, obviously. But he still commands gravitas. I think he still commands gravitas, and I don't think you really should abandon this character. Now, people are understandably disconsolate over why would you get rid of Constantine on Legends of Tomorrow when he's the only important part of the show. When you have a Flash TV show and a Flash movie, you have a Supergirl TV show, you have a Supergirl movie. Now, I don't know, maybe that's why the Supergirl show was going off the air. Maybe that's why, because Superman and Lois is on TV, we can't have the Henry Cavill Superman in Man of Steel 2 or some kind of project. I mean, even put him in Shazam or something, they're acting like that's a Herculean effort. Well, why is it okay for the Flash? Why? Because the multiverse? The multiverse does not extend simply to the Flash. It extends to all the DC universe. So, again, I honestly don't understand why they're doing this. Ryan's version is being phased out of the show. As a result, John's arc will wrap up in season 6, but the actor looks set to remain part of Legends of Tomorrow as a new character. Now, this kind of bugs me because they did the same thing, too, with Vixen. They created a new character for the actress named Charlie, who was a shapeshifter, which, I mean, ultimately, I think she did very well with the role, although I don't know that the character was really necessary, but then they kind of spun her off at the end and gave her urgency because she became the catalyst for the villains and this and that. So she was kind of like missing in action for a lot of those episodes. And for whatever reason, they just didn't do anything with her until it was like they figured, well, let's make her part of because the character wasn't working, part of the resolution of the story. All right, so let's see. The new character, during a panel for the show during Comic-Con at Home, producer Phil Klemmer confirmed Ryan will remain a series regular in season 7 as Dr. Gwen Davies, an eccentric scientist from the early 20th century who might be the team's only hope. As everyone who loved him knows, in the end, John Constantine will walk his path alone. The time has come for John to part ways with the Legends, and for me to part ways with John, said Ryan. I'm really excited to be creating this new role on the show and having some fun with it, discovering how this new character fits in and causes some trouble for the Legends. So, if you're going to look at this as a good news, bad news thing, the good news is we still got Matt Ryan, who is, a real plus to the show, really adds a lot. He's going to be playing a whole new character, which, it's not the same. This is kind of par for the course for the show, though. I mean, not only with Charlie, but with Zari. It's like they don't ever want it. They want this to be sort of like a repertory show, you know what I mean? Where they have characters come in and out and play actors come in and out and play different characters. So it's kind of like that's what they're going to do with Constantine here as well. It's risky, I would say, but hey, this show has succeeded, or has continued on at least, when everybody thought it would be the first to go down. So far, we already lost, Arrow, Black Lightning, Supergirl, and Legends keeps going strong. So they must be doing something right, right? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Will the show succeed without Constantine? Will Matt Ryan be able to pull some magic one last time into a new character? I don't know. We'll see how it goes, but at least he's still on the show. All right, so our final story of the evening. Well, it's the afternoon, but by the time you watch this, chances are it could be any hour of the day or night. Some interesting, I don't know, speculation, I guess. I don't know if this is have been confirmed yet, but J.K. Simmons apparently is going to be James Gordon in the new Batgirl movie. All right. With the Snyderverse a thing of the past, we thought we'd most likely seen the last of J.K. Simmons as Commissioner Gordon, but the Academy Award-winning actor is not quite done with the role yet. The Hollywood Reporter reports that Simmons is currently in negotiations to reprise the role of the legendary lawman for the upcoming HBO Max Batgirl movie. Now, let me stop you there for a second. I honestly would like to call BS on this, bologna sandwiches. On the one hand, with the Snyderverse imploding, I mean, it's pretty much gone its way, and everybody is pretty much confirmed that they're not going to continue that verse. I don't know that. Why would they bring back J.K. Simmons for this project? Is it going to be tied to the Snyderverse? It's going to be hard to figure out any of this stuff until the Flashpoint film, or whatever it's going to ultimately be called, maybe explains why we'll still have like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman and Jason Momoa's Aquaman, along with a new Batman, a new Superman potentially. I don't understand any of it, but ours is not the reason why. Second thing is, of course, they are not the same race. Barbara Gordon, as cast by Leslie Grace, completely different race from J.K. Simmons. Now, I know in this day and age, that doesn't mean anything. They will just pretend that they are still related. At the worst, they'll just ignore it and just say they're related or whatever, and you just got to guess. In the best case scenario, they'll do the stupid thing like they did with Fan Forstick and just say that she's adopted the way that, Sue Storm was adopted in Fan Forstick. It's stupid, really. It's honestly stupid. And another thing is, I'm not sure that the ages line up. Leslie Grace is what, mid-20s? And J.K. Simmons is late 60s. I guess it's possible. But you kind of would think that sort of the older version of Commissioner Gordon, which he's playing, you got to remember, Bruce Wayne in the Snyderverse is like mid-40s at least. Possibly older. And we're going to introduce a Batgirl now that when Batman is now basically pushing 50. I don't know. We'll see. All right, so to continue the copy, Simmons made his debut as Gordon in Justice League, but only appeared in a couple of scenes. He got a little more to do in Zack Snyder's director's cut, but Batgirl should finally give him the opportunity to fully inhabit the role. It was recently announced Leslie Grace will play the lead role of Barbara Gordon. Bad Boys for Life directors Adil El Arbi and Bilal Fallah are set to helm the DC Comics adaptation. Christina Hodson, who wrote Bumblebee and worked on Birds of Prey and The Flash, penned the most recent draft of the script. They always got to add this. Avengers director Joss Whedon was originally all right, we don't want to hear about that anymore. All right, Joss Whedon wanted to do the film. All right, he was ostracized. He's out of contention. We know. Plot details are still under wraps, but the speculation is that Firefly might be introduced as the villain. I guess to replace the Killer Moth. Killer Moth was traditionally Batgirl's first villain, right? They should bring back Killer Moth, but I don't think anybody takes him seriously. No official release date has been announced, but the movie's reportedly scheduled to hit HBO Max sometime in 2023. So I love J.K. Simmons. I would love to see him come back as Commissioner Gordon, but I'm not watching a race-changed Barbara Gordon, like I said last week. Those days are done. I am tired of supporting these shows, these projects, these movies, where they're race-changing characters. They want to just pretend like nobody should complain. You got to be a racist if you want the character to look like the comic. Committing gingercide for the sake of diversity. It's nonsense. It's terrible. It shouldn't go on, and I'm not going to see this. So hopefully he doesn't get the role, because he should be used in a true Batman series, a 3-movie trilogy or something like that. You don't even necessarily have to bring Ben Affleck back. Just reboot the series, the Batman franchise. I was hoping they were going to do something like that with the Batman, but of course they race changed Commissioner Gordon, Catwoman. So basically, you're not looking at a faithful Batman franchise for several years now, I imagine. All right, so let me know what you think in the comments below. Video, I did it for you. If you haven't already, please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Want to get to 300 subscribers? Check out the link in the description below. This is the website. If you want to go to the website right there, and you're not looking at the description because you're on the phone or something, just Google Bullets Bourbon Comics. I know I'm trying to get a domain name, and it's really just a headache that I don't really want to be bothered with. Work on Bullets Bourbon number 9 is well underway. We're going to do a cover reveal, or a potential cover reveal, coming up pretty soon. And I showed a lot of images for Bullets Bourbon number 8, and I hope everybody's going to go out there and get that one and be really excited for that one when it hits the site in a couple of weeks. But because this next issue, and it's probably not a spoiler to say the title, The Death of Bullets Bourbon, I'm not going to be showing that many images from this one, if any. I'm usually very, secretive about the issues. I don't want people to really feel like they've seen the whole thing. When you see a trailer and you feel like you've seen the whole thing, and you read it. Well, in the case of movies or the trailer, you see the movie, you kind of feel like the best parts were already broadcast to you. That's why I'm always kind of a little bit worried about what I'm showing in these images I'm releasing. But in this one, there's really literally nothing I can show that's not going to betray some type of plot that I don't want shown, that I don't want disclosed. So probably looking at very few images from here on in. So check out the Adventures of Bullets Bourbon issue 8. That'll be your best way to go. And it'll prepare you for the sad conclusion to this arc, the Family Jewels. The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye number 8, Temptation Eyes, coming very, very soon. And stay tuned. We'll be talking a little bit about issue 9 and the cover reveal. So until next we meet, this is Johnny Torch reminding you once again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.